Good evening, mercenaries and bounty hunters. I should have thought of a better thing to say before that. And welcome to another spine-tingling chapter of Blood from a Stone, A Tale of Love and Dread in RPG. I'm Philip, and I am the Dreadmaster, and I am joined by Liv, one of our wonderful, and tonight, I'm just going to say, particularly glamorous-looking players. Good evening, Liv. How are you?
I'm quite good. How are you?
You know, I'm okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. As you can see, we do have this wound up being a slightly sort of smaller group tonight, and I based on the Instagram post some of you may have seen before this, we're doing even though it was a real cliffhanger last week, we're just kind of stepping away to see some stuff that's going on elsewhere. Tonight's game is going to be somewhat akin to, I believe it was chapter 78, in that this is a Soldier of Fortune episode. However, unlike last time, I am not all alone. Liv is here, playing an old favorite character some of you might remember from, I think, the 60s, because we are in chapter 99, by the way. 99 tonight. So you guys
really?
know what that means, right?
It's not a multiple of 13.
No, but it's only 5 to go before 104. That's the big one. We're all counting down to 104.
I feel 104 is huge. I also feel like 100.
It's not a multiple of 13. It doesn't matter. If this was a base 10 game, I'd be like, ooh, exciting.
We're not operating in base 10, no.
But we're in base 13, which means it's episode 169. No, 160. Yeah, 169.
Is 169 a multiple of 13?
I think 169 is 13 squared, in fact. Am I wrong about that?
No, I think you're right.
But Book and Dagger is a multiple of 13 subscription. Wow, that's super exciting. Because of that, and also because it already is going to, my 13s will count tonight. So there we go. Because this poor little dread
there
clock.
There are only 2 of us, so that's fair.
This poor little dread clock is just sitting here at 4. Just needs to get bigger. Just needs to be fed. Speaking of other things that need to be fed, is my dice collection. So I don't know if you've been here for. I'm doing the seasonally inappropriate Winter Wonderland now that it's summer.
No, but did you see they have some more for pre-order? Oh, I meant to do that, and then I didn't.
I did pre-order them because I'm a child. I absolutely did.
I'm so sorry that we got this. Like, you guys, we started this with Philip because as a group we pitched in and got him one as a gift, and now he orders every single one.
It arrived. It arrived the day after Thanksgiving in 2021, and I've never looked back. So let's see. We have 4. I think we're on to 5 today. So 5, what kind of wintry wonderland creature will come out of here? Oh, it looks like another one of these very cool, say goodbye to the Northern Lights. It's another one, it's a D4 with this beautiful kind of like Polaris North Star.
Ooh, image. Those are pretty.
They're very good. I also, first roll is a 3, not bad. I also should show, I think you will like this, I showed this to Erin on Wednesday, and I said she's going to react, and then she did make a face. But this is the Polar Bear D10. Get ready for this.
So cute.
People are into the Polar Bear.
So cute.
So, and also, yes, Sophia, you are right. It is not because it is June gloom, I suppose people would say. My autofocus is just a disaster on this machine.
It's not focusing on you.
Come on, I'm here.
It wants more dice.
It really does. It only wants. Actually, what I'm supposed to do is just that. There we go. Yeah. So, I've gotten some things out of the way. I also will do a bit of a recap. I might even recap what happened last week, even though that's not directly correlated to this, just so that everyone could be aware of what we're going to cut back to soon. But I do want to mention at the top of this, this is going to be a slightly different style of game. Akin somewhat to how we did the Soldier of Fortune the first time, but also to everyone who is present in chat for this live game on Twitch. I will be asking for some input sort of like that one, sort of like our May the 4th Mystic Starport game, to a certain extent, not quite that video game like. I don't know that Liv and I will be doing the NPC sort of like static shuffle as we wait for inputs, but so we'll be doing a little of that as well, where we'll be asking you for some questions as to what it is we think the Soldier of Fortune, how he might proceed in certain moments. But tonight's game is going to be a little shorter in length, and is going to be a look at something that's going on because, and Liv, I think you are aware of this part. A rather momentous thing happened a few sessions ago, which is that after being sent to investigate an old album called Blood from a Stone by the Soldier of Fortune in exchange for more information, Medina found herself teleported back in time, or into another consciousness, or some weirdness, of a singer named Wendy Raven, and that's actually the name the soldier was after. Upon being Wendy Raven, she sang a song as part of the recording. She returned, and then, when downloading the Soldier of Fortune on what had transpired, she actually started singing the song to him, and because I rolled a 1 on his roll on this D13, the Soldier of Fortune has fallen under the thrall of Medina as she channels this power of Wendy Raven. However, Medina has also fallen under the thrall of this Wendy Raven as well, which we've been getting to a little more. So the Soldier of Fortune became very sort of protective of her. I think you were present for some of that, Liv.
Yes.
And at the end, he sort of wanted to give her a means so she could keep doing research that would protect her mind. And he was very loath to leave her alone, but she kind of asked him to, so he did. Because, and I do want to stress this because there's a weird dynamic here, because he's kind of a creep, and he definitely wants to plow her, but it's kind of like not his fault because his brain has been ensorcelled, but he really does want to plow this.
It's non-consensual misogyny on his part.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
he's misogynistic and gross, but he's not consenting to expressing his misogyny.
Exactly. It's taking something that's already there, but it's probably not how he would ultimately be expressing it, because he really is, he can. So, he would like to get with Medina.
He would.
But he ran off to seek something to help her protect her mind so that she could handle all these tomes of dread, or these sources of dread. And that is where we're going to be following him tonight. But just to recap for everyone of what happened last week, so you know kind of the cliffhanger we ended on, another gentleman showed up shortly thereafter, and Penny was present for this and actually did help with the medicine roll a little later. In last week's game, another Mistwalker showed up, a guy called the Drifter, who actually has a connection to Hattie, because he's the one who, she said, "What do I call you?" And he said, "Sir." And I was like, it's cool what I said. I mean, it's gross, it's horrible, but like that is what he would have said. Yeah, cool. So he showed up, having heard that the Soldier of Fortune, who, if we recall from the 13 Tombstones arc, these two gentlemen, they are both alphas. They both talk at a certain register, but they are very much on opposite sides of things, including in the sort of war between the Dreadlords. One was on the Alliance, one was on the Mistbreakers. He found out. Yes, we decided the Drifter looks like Chris Pine, so now everyone's like, okay, yeah, where suddenly and I think Lauren was kind of, perhaps I should not reveal this. I think Lauren indicated that she suspects that Medina, in a vacuum, would be much more likely to be attracted to the Drifter, not.
Who did we decide Soldier of Fortune looks like?
It's been a few things. She said, I have various references. She said Carl Urban, which is like not wrong. He is honestly, this is, and the problem is like it's like too cheesy for people to understand. He really is probably like Magnum PI era Tom Selleck. Like that's probably a pretty good.
Okay. I was gonna say that I'm not so attracted to Tom Selleck. Carl Urban.
Yeah, see, I think that's just a generational. It's fine. Yeah, exactly. He's there's a core 80s-ness to the Soldier of Fortune.
Okay.
There's also
older Tom Selleck, like 2000s Tom Selleck.
That's so interesting. Yeah, exactly. No, he's Friends era Tom Selleck. No, he's not everyone's. It's fine. Whatever. We're all good. The point being, the Drifter showed up. He wanted to know what was going on. Medina wanted to get some information, but not give too much. But he was kind of being withholding in a certain way. Maybe that's what she's into. Point being, Wendy Raven's voice began to sort of take more presence in Medina's mind and encouraged her to sort of think a little bigger. And if you could get one of these, like, super powerful, masters of the universe men under her sway, would it be great to get a second? So she took the Drifter upstairs as the rest of the students stayed below, and she began singing him this song. And he walked towards her, wanting to kiss her, his mouth open, drawing her in, but she did have the presence of mind to just roll, do I buy this? And she didn't, and that's how she knew to turn from the knife as he began slicing into her. And she did manage to defend herself, and the Drifter was just like, oh my god, you got him, this is amazing, oh my god. But he tried to kill her. However, she was able to she took a huge amount of damage, but she was able to fend the guy off before Wednesday and others were coming, so he rushed away sort of to escape. But he's very excited about this.
So the Drifter, I've not caught up from last week. The Drifter was immune to her.
The Drifter was not immune. The Drifter simply succeeded against the save. The Soldier of Fortune rolled a 1, which was the coolest thing that happened. And honestly, for the story, for her to have both those guys in love with her would have been great, but it didn't happen. And then she did survive, which was good. So basically, she came downstairs. She had to use all of her power to avoid this. She has literally 1 power left. Penny and Everett and the others kind of dragged her in, and she kind of said to Everett and stuff oh my god, it's she said to what is Dan's Bradley. She was like, you see, it is dangerous here. You got to be careful with summoning these characters. And I think he was like, okay, because she's and Penny kind of looked her over and confirmed that she had no she's low on power. She's cut up. She's in pain, but she has no no
vital organs were hit.
Exactly. She'll be fine, just with a bunch of rest. But,
very Scream 2 kind of situation.
Oh, yeah. But everyone was so focused on this. No one heard, because the ghoul can be very quiet when he wants to be. And we ended as the ghoul had crept into the room.
That's the cliffhanger.
His slathering jaws, and he lunges, leaping in the air to devour the supple flesh of one Medina Lake. That is where we've cut off, but we will have to see what happens with that next week. Or instead,
he smelled the blood.
He smelled the blood. He smelled the sort of the fighting and the death, and he was like.
So, I would imagine that the Soldier of Fortune is quite unhappy with the Drifter now.
Well, the Soldier of Fortune is unaware. He'll probably be mad if he gets back. But then, if he gets back, and if she had died for the Drifter, he would have been mad at himself for leaving.
Yeah,
it's really sad. What a poor guy. I'm looking at some stuff here. Oh yeah, Comics Wolverine is also not a bad idea for the Soldier of Fortune, with one caveat: he is very tall, and Comics Wolverine I think is canonically 5'2".
Yeah,
he's supposed to be so little. Hugh Jackman, very obviously short. Great in the role, but I may have even said this on stream before. A friend of mine in high school, he was mad about Hugh Jackman being cast. He's actually the person who. He's the person who most got me into X-Men. He gave me all his old Marvel Essential black and white, the things, and he asked me, or I asked him who should play Wolverine, and he thought a long time. Then he said Dennis Franz, and I love that idea. Dennis Franz, who played Sipowicz on NYPD Blue. I was like, that's such a fun, just small, short, stocky man. That's an amazing, but I get where he's coming from.
Who? Dennis?
Oh, Tom Hardy is not a bad one for the Soldier of Fortune as well, actually. Tom Hardy has the gruffness, Tom Hardy and Bronson especially, but I don't know the because the other thing about the Soldier of Fortune is he's a tall guy. But I think Tom Hardy's a good call. Oh my god! Wait, isn't the movie War where it's Tom Hardy and Chris Pine are at war over Reese Witherspoon?
I think you're right.
It's directed by Mick G.
Right.
That's correct. Dang. All right. Had she ensorcelled the Drifter 2, it would absolutely be Tom Hardy. And in anyone's headcanon where she did, and it's just man, woman fan fiction of Medina getting what's a polite, is there a polite way to say spit roasted, or is that just it's not
the Eiffel Tower.
The Mistwalker Tower. All right. Oh.
No, I'm sorry, Lauren, if you watch this.
Oh boy.
We fully respect you.
Oh my lord. The point being, well, it's Medina. That's different. It's a fictional version of Medina who's into it. That's what the fan fiction. It's like Medina's like, oh my god, look at these two hunks. Also, I think from things Lauren has indicated to me, because I think Lauren's like not cool with the age difference between like Medina and the soldier. So I'm sure in any headcanon stuff, it's like graduate student Medina or something. I don't know. Oh my god. The point being, no, you have to add that to the wiki, Sophia. That's gotta be we need a wiki of ideas for who can hook up with whom. Well, we'll probably learn some more about the Soldier of Fortune tonight. So I think that's enough of a recap. I said this was going to be a short session, and we haven't even started playing by 7:55, but still it will be a shorter one tonight. So, with all that in mind, I am now going to read tonight's invocation for Chapter 99 of Blood from a Stone, A Tale of Love and Dread in RPG. I felt my heart explode. I felt my brain recode. I felt the windows of my soul give out. I knew the meaning of dying, knew the texture of crying, knew what living was all about. It's about you. Sweet, sweet, heavenly you. The Soldier of Fortune makes his way out of the Ignador Gate and into the wilds that now suffuse the Dreadlands once they have been shattered and broken apart and begin to cross over. It doesn't take him too long to get to the general area where he's going. He is heading, as one might expect, having left the Ignador Gate, towards what remains of that Dreadland. The terrain changes. It becomes wilder, more unforgiving. The roads go from being sort of paved to simple sort of horse paths, and then in many areas he is kind of crossing overland, rushing through brush, savannas, and then as he gets closer to his destination on this mission of love for Medina Lake, he comes to lands that are more dead, barren, gray, deserts, although the odd foliage grows here and there. He encounters some beings on this path. We don't need to go into the details. Any who would slow him down are very quickly dealt with. But he cuts an imposing figure, and even the bravest bands of warriors would probably not go looking for trouble to a man like that. Not even a roving pack of goblins who sort of have a great deal of fearlessness, having been tricked by wizards who make themselves look scary. They can tell that this man is the real deal, and he begins to pass. The fact that though he is entering a more fantastical and magical place, but still wielding a large rifle, is probably also helping to dissuade anyone from attacking him. But eventually he comes to tall gray mountains. There are small tendrils of purple mist on the ground in this area. He knows that he is getting close to one of the main places that used to be in the Dreadland called Ignador and is now located where he's gone. He doesn't have much time, and he begins kind of hoping that this will work to sprint kind of up one of these rocky hillsides, but he soon finds himself slipping and sliding back down to the ground, and he curses. But then his honed ears hear other footfalls nearby, similar sounds of sort of rock and scree sliding. And he sort of glances, and he's really not trying to be hidden at this point, not where he was going up, but as he glances over, he sees some other tendrils of sort of smoke, but this is a grayer smoke. This is not like the purple mist on the ground. It seems to be trailing from another figure that was similarly trying to move up these mountains. And he sort of spots Hattie Ford, once of Hysteles, an explorer and smoking one. And if you want to know more about smoking ones, go to check out the Noir Confidential book on our itch.io page. But Hattie is basically this incredibly sort of like glamorous looking woman, but every pore on her skin gives off this fine, smoky mist, making her very hard to sort of see and read. But the Soldier of Fortune is not as shocked as, Hattie, it's probably likely that in this area there may be beings who you've come upon who have thought you were some kind of like elemental or demon, and I'm sure you can use that to your advantage, but
it's perfectly in my advantage.
You do see this man, this tall gentleman, kind of, he's got a mustache. He also has a gun on his back. That's something you haven't seen for a while. But he's wearing a suit. He's wearing like a suit with a little bow tie. He's probably taken his glasses off at this point, but he kind of looks at you and says, "No luck getting up over this way, huh?"
Well, now who might you be?
He kind of walks over to you and says, "I'm just a simple soldier of fortune. I move
haven't
around."
seen a piece like that in a while.
Yeah, I'll bet not. You're far from where Hysteles used to be, or still is. I actually haven't ventured that way in a while.
You know Hysteles?
Yeah, I know everywhere. I'm surprised that you've gotten this far. Well, you just started walking out of the city after the mist fell?
Well, what's it to you?
Do you know where you're going? Are you here on purpose? Where are you trying to get to?
Well, I go everywhere on purpose, darling.
Yeah.
I venture I'm on my way to the same place you are. Are you heading to Igndor?
What's left of it? I'm going to the valley. Funny thing is, that valley used to have an enchantment on it. You couldn't enter it anywhere but through the gates of blood. And as far as I can tell, he kind of gestures to the mountains, that enchantment is still intact. And I'm not really, I have some magic at my disposal, but yeah. You have a way around it?
If I did, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Guess that's the truth.
You have some magic, huh?
A little bit.
Interesting.
Just a little. You should know, if you're heading to the Valley of Badairoth, they have some rules there.
What kind of rules?
Traditions. Ways you have to behave. Are you packing? He kind of gestures to his own gun.
Remember? I don't think she.
Actually, not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. A woman never goes anywhere without protection.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't be able to take that in there.
Well, how will they know?
He kind of just shakes his head and starts kind of walking past you. They'll know.
What kind of what can I get in and what can't I?
Well, I say this based on how things used to work. But basically, the Lich Queen, that's her valley. And as such, she makes sure that people can't bring in things that would upset the balance. Cause her
Blades or
trouble.
bullets?
Blades are fine. She has ways around blades. She'd be fine against bullets. It's more about her vibe. You see, the Lich Queen, she didn't, she was never too fond of this whole, plan to break things up. She wanted to keep the boundaries just as they were. She wanted to keep her world how it was. She's a traditionalist.
Interesting. But how do you know what a lich is?
Great question. Hattie, go ahead and roll an Arcana roll, just on your standard skills, standard D&D rules. Guys, this is gonna be a mixed system tonight. We got different things going on because old characters, new characters. Yeah, it's just gonna be
super fun. Okay, yeah. I've got my sheet pulled up. Thankfully, Arcana is something Hattie is good at. Ooh, and that is a 20 with my +5.
Oh, great. Okay, so yeah, with a 20, you have certainly heard of the idea of a lich, which would be a kind of wizard who is dead, but through the power of their magic, sort of continue to animate their own dead corpse, and have probably split their soul off into little places, hidden parts of themselves, so that even if they are killed, they can sort of return. It's some very sort of dark magic, older school stuff. There is a good bit of necromancy in Hysteles. I don't know that there are any full liches, however.
So that's a new one.
So you probably have not encountered one, even in your travels, but the stories you've read of Dread Ignador imply that, yes, that is where the liches dwell.
Now I know they're real.
Indeed. He says, all right, well, I might try one or two little tricks to get through, but I don't have time to dick around running up mountains when it's not going to get me anywhere. If you get halfway up, you're just going to wind up, you can teleport you right back
here.
No, you have to go through the gates. That's the whole, I mean, no one's, she's not the Lich Queen for no reason.
Do you mind if I tag along?
No, but are you like a... Don't even know how to say this. What, I know how to get any woman into bed. You know? But, like...
Sure.
I don't know, like, what...
What's your name? You said you're a soldier of fortune. Is that your name?
It's good enough for me. Is there a... I don't know, like... I mean, I'm actually here to get something for this girl, but, like, I mean... Is flowers a thing? I don't know, god damn it.
Oh, you're here because you have girl problems.
I mean,
that's adorable.
You know...
I can help you.
You laugh, but... I don't even care, because... she's something else. I just...
She's the moon. She's the moon, the stars, the sun.
I mean... She's better than all of those, because you can't fuck the moon, the stars, or the sun. Or if you try... Look at...
Oh, men are the same, aren't they? Yeah, I can help.
He sort of pulls out a cigar, sees that you're smoking, and he's just... lights up a cigar and sort of says... Yeah, just, I don't know. You see anything in there you think she might like? She's, I don't really know her all that well, but I also, like, know her, you know?
You got it bad.
Shut up. Come on. He just kind of storms off towards the gates, and eventually you guys kind of make your way through this sort of rocky path, both of you puffing away. He'll actually say, I actually used to, in Heisteles, there was a smoking one. She worked at the Bad Dragon. I used to fool around with her sometimes. She was cool. It tickles, you know.
What does?
The mist.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when she's, excited. But those days are behind me now. I'm a one-woman man until I'm told otherwise.
Yeah, we all say that for a while.
He turns and he looks pretty intense. Like, I'm serious. I'm not going to do anything to fuck this up. There was a time when I would have seen you on the side of the mountain and been like, jackpot. But now I see you and say, okay. And he just keeps walking.
I think I'll take that in the spirit it was intended.
Eventually, you kind of get to a spot where the mountains are sort of getting much taller, but you can see that there's a much more pronounced sort of a decline that you're heading down, and you begin to catch glimpses of a valley beyond. And Hattie, you do suspect that this is the place that in your general exploration you've decided you're looking for. But as you sort of get there, you do see that constructed in this dark black stone that is very textured, but still kind of has a shine to it, and maybe even a bit of just like a very soft greenish glow to it. Kind of catches the light or the shadow, or seems to weirdly be glowing where there's only shadow. It's a strange look. You see that there is this sort of like large spiked structure, and there are some gates at the bottom, or at least some kind of passage. But you know what, Hattie? Let's just, for the hell of rolling, who cares? Give me a perception roll, which is it's +4 for you.
Yeah. It's fairly perceptive. Ooh, that is a 21.
Nice. Okay.
Almost 20.
You look and you sort of there's like a whoa, because the gates have this odd, almost like they're not moving, but they do seem to be shiny and liquid, and they're crimson red. You know, this is called the Gates of Blood, and you suspect that it may literally be
blood.
There is like doors of blood in your way. Soldier of Fortune just kind of grimaces. God in heaven. All right. You can, you can just choose not to even bother with your weapon. Otherwise, they'll probably take it from you. They may want some other cosmetic changes to a certain extent. But
cosmetic changes.
What are you wearing, Hattie?
Hattie would be in kind of nondescript. What are noir exploring clothes look?
Yeah, you're probably in you're probably in pants, but they're sort of very fashionable.
Trousers, very fashionable.
Jodhpurs, maybe, kind of.
Trousers, kind of black, turtleneck, and then a overcoat.
Oh yeah, sure, exactly. He just gestures to your clothing and says, "You'll." God damn it. That being said, I'm gonna try to. I may have something. That can get us a little bit of a. Just be prepared and don't make a big deal of it, because I will leave you.
Yes, I'm used to conforming to local customs. It's fine.
You're an explorer.
Backward. Yes.
Okay. Good. Um,
Do I have to ditch my revolver, or will I just not disclose it?
oh, disclose it. I mean, you should disclose it. They'll know. You can't. You're not going to be able to take it through. But sometimes they. We'll see. He just kind of starts walking up to the gates and just shaking. He just looks angry. And he suddenly calls out. Actually, I'm going to ask chat this. We're going to do one of our little pauses. The Soldier of Fortune, just so you know, is coming to a place that is going to ask him to do something he doesn't want to do. But he is on a mission of love for Medina. So will the Soldier of Fortune... So press A if the Soldier of Fortune is going to, try to still get through, maybe try to not give the game away here, try to keep as much as he can, or press B if he's just going to say screw it and very forthrightly say what's going on. I'm going to say once we get to 3 responses of some kind, I'll sort of count how those work out, and we'll go. So A, so you're mashing A if he's going to try to keep some stuff, or B if he's just going to, call out who he is and not try to give the, kind of just go for speed. A is strategy, B is speed. We have 2 responses, which are 2A, so even if a B comes through, look at it, it's nothing but A's. Okay, fine. So basically, the Soldier of Fortune just kind of starts... He'll actually take his rifle off and he'll, stuff it in some sort of bushes, and he sort of gestures to you, Hattie, to maybe do the same.
Okay.
For, your revolver. He then takes off his jacket, and he pulls out. He sets another couple guns in there. He's got some Desert Eagles and some other. He is pulling way more guns than you thought he would have. He's seriously packing. He takes his jacket off. He does pull a couple of knives out of there, and he kind of just puts them in his boot. He oh shoot, he's in a suit. He might have boots. Oh,
Should
guys,
I be pulling out my knives?
Knives should be fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a luck roll for the Soldier of Fortune. Is he wearing dress shoes to fit the clothes, or did he wear boots even with dress shoes? And if I roll a 13, it'll be great. I roll a 5. That means this poor bastard is in they're not they're comfortable. It's not they're not penny loafers, but he's not. He wasn't wearing a suit with combat boots, which is a cool look, but sadly no. So he's just
Wouldn't go with the overall aesthetic.
He just sort of shakes his head, and he takes his jacket off, pulls up his bow tie, then he takes his shirt off, and you just see this guy is very built. See Instagram posts for today, and he does have a few, he's got more scars though on him. And he just kind of...
That does not make him less attractive.
Sorry, he's got scars. Sorry, ladies, he has scars. Yeah, he's what is it girls hate? Girls can't stand a guy with scars, tattoos. I don't have any more.
We don't like it when they look like line cooks, not at all.
Oh no. I like that. It's just the specificity is what's funny. So he kind of just shakes his head, and he kind of pulls up a couple of the knives he has. He has one pretty serious kind of hunting knife. And he looks at his rifle and just
it's a little curved slightly to the right.
He Lord in heaven. No, I think his is probably just I don't know. Well, we need to get into this. This is more of those pages we don't want on the wiki, apparently. Oh my god, we need a wiki page that's just the Soldier of Fortune's dick.
Sorry.
That's all it is. Soldier of Fortune. That's see other pages, Soldier of Fortune's dick. So he just shakes his head and sort of starts kind of moving towards those gates, kind of you also notice, Hattie, that he for a big man, he's very stealthy. He can really he's very limber and sort of spry, and he kind of begins sort of creeping down. And now, if you're sort of following him, I'll assume that you can be going pretty quietly as well. You eventually sort of get to where your the path leads down, and then there's about 20 feet sort of flat land, some of which have little paving stones, and then there's kind of this structure blocking kind of all the way across these two rock walls. He looks and goes. He kind of points, and you can see. We'll roll over your previous 21 perception. There's a figure standing there wearing like a cloak. The hands of this figure seem to be skeletal. And again, Hattie, you've been in Hystales. You've seen your fair share of like skeleton waiters and things. Various power players have undead. So this does appear to be some like type of undead creature standing there. It is wearing a sort of a reddish colored robe. And it's just kind of standing like before these gates. The Soldier of Fortune kind of plays with his mustache a bit and sort of just begins walking. And kind of very tentatively goes, We are humble travelers. We seek passage to the valley. We put ourselves at the mercy of the Lich Queen.
Yes, all honor to your queen.
There's sort of a pause, and the voice of this creature that comes out is dark and sort of old and kind of. Hattie, you have definitely seen a lot of undead. You probably have heard fewer of them talk in your time in Hystales. Mostly they are sort of mute things, but there is a voice that comes out of whatever like undead creature this is, and it kind of says, "All who honor the Lich Queen are welcome in the valley of her name." He's like, "Yes, we do honor. All hail to Visibadiroth. All hail to the Throne of Bones." And he kind of just starts moving forward. May we pass through the gates of blood. Pass through you may, but only in the true spirit. And kind of the head looks up and you see this, like, it's not quite a skeleton, it's like this like rotting face underneath, but the eyes are glowing, these two kind of like cold blue lights. You must be true. Of course, we'll be true. Thank you. And he kind of walks up to the gates, these kind of walls of blood. And now that you're closer, how do you do think that they are like oddly rippling or something in sort of the wind? They do appear to be like a very, very flat sheet of blood that is somehow just suspended in this kind of large portal-shaped thing.
What does it mean by true?
It just means you can't be. You're not hiding anything, right?
I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah, for your purpose, you'll be fine. The Soldier of Fortune, kind of glances at the thing. Who this skeleton seems to kind of be looking at you, but then it sort of turns back its head and just looks forward. And the soldier, you see him pull out a knife, and he slices into his thumb, and he kind of squeezes for a moment and like lets them just like drop onto the ground, and he seems to be concentrating very hard. He's trying to do something. He's trying to, this isn't, there's some purpose to this. And he shakes his head and kind of looks at you, and he sort of steps forward towards the walls. Do you go as well, or do you hang back?
I would cautiously follow behind. Am I expected to cut open my own thumb?
He hasn't indicated that you should at all, and he was seeming to do that in a way that was like secret from. He like didn't want the person to see that he was doing that. But as he sort
Patty
of
will hold on to that information. Interesting. No secrets, and yet here he is doing exactly that.
he goes reaches his hand forward. All right, he's got to get real high on this for this to work.
Oh boy.
They chose option A. So this is sort of like the higher risk, higher reward.
I'm gonna kind of triangulate, so I'm as far away from him as I am from the lich. Like,
understood. So you're kind of like, okay, you
know
now
exactly
that you notice
what's
that you're
happening
following,
here.
but now you're.
Something shady is not.
Oh my god.
Oh, what did you roll?
I needed an 11 or a 12, and I rolled a 10 on our D13.
Whew.
So I'm sorry, everybody who wanted the who chose option A. This was the high risk, high reward, kind of try to sneak in, get away with what you can. He does this, he's giving a shot, he steps up to this, and suddenly you hear Hattie this inhuman, like, death scream, and the blood on these sort of portals turns into this, like, snarling undead face, and the Soldier of Fortune kind of and he is thrown back about 10 feet, but since you triangulated, you're not directly behind him, and he sort of he lands on the ground behind, and the red-robed undead sort of turns and says, "You were not true elf blood." He sits up.
Hattie would like to turn to the being. So like a man. They say one thing and do another.
So like a man. And you are honest.
I'm a woman. Take that for what it is. But I am true.
Then you may pass. But if you lie, you'll share his fate.
I have nothing to hide. Well, nothing matters here.
These kind of like blue eyes just stare at you sort of eerily. Soldier of Fortune stands up. God damn it. All right, fine. He heads back over to his kind of to those bushes about 20, 30 feet back, and picks up his rifle and picks up a couple of his guns and just kind of walks back and says, "Fine. Yes, I'm a Mistwalker. I was thinking that perhaps with everything that had gone down, the rules are a little different. No. The rules remain. What happens outside the valley is of little concern to the dead queen of all." Fine.
Would Hattie know the term Mistwalker?
That is a great question. I think... I'll tell you what, Hattie. This is not a term that you would have, like, learned too much and stuff. However, go ahead and make another Arcana roll.
Okay. That is a 17.
Wait. I've had the wrong thing up this whole time. We've been cut in and had the thing. It's like, it's been right. It's just I couldn't see like the names and the sides, and yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have the right thing up.
Yeah, no, it's the I mean on the Twitch thing. I went to the 4.
Oh.
I just automatically click 4 players on this night. So yeah, there you go.
Oh. 17.
I will say this for old Hattie. You are yourself an explorer. You're a person who tries to go to different places to visit other realms. So you certainly understood the idea that there were other places and people who could pass through those mists that used to bind everything. And you also know those mists are gone. The term Mistwalker is probably not one that you've explicitly heard, but there are people who you've wondered about. And I will say, given that handsome drifter who once gave you a flask, you do suspect that he was one of them. And there is something about this man you've met here, especially now that he's been identified as one of these, that he's not like that guy, but there is some weird, like they have a similar charisma to them. Yeah.
Understood. She'll file that information away as well, but not react to it.
That I also this is just for my memory and yours. If you actually recall, that drifter got you out of the love sickness that you felt because you listened to his song. He managed to like snap you out of that through his own weird magic. Although he did it by rejecting you in like a real rude way. So
I don't have lingering feelings for him. I've forgotten that.
You don't really have lingering feelings for him. You have oh no, he does. I'll rephrase this. You don't have lingering feelings for him. He ensorcelled you a little bit, but he got you free of a lingering feelings that would have lasted a much longer time. He kind of like replaced that with himself, but that has worn off by now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I filed this away. Because I don't trust him even more now.
Damn it. This just takes a fucking lot. Alright, fine. This takes so goddamn much time. And the Soldier of Fortune places his sort of rifle and his guns on the ground. And, reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a coin that's made of a purple gemstone. And then he sort of leans forward and he starts speaking in a language. A very strange, old language. Hattie, I doubt you will speak this, but let me just double check. Yeah, you have a lot of languages. This is not one known to you with your Abyssal, Celestial, Deep Speech, and Infernal. He's doing this kind of like... He's kind of just like quietly doing some sort of ritual. What are you doing, Hattie? Are you waiting for him, or are you just going to go ahead and pass through?
I'm gonna continue towards the door and see if I can just pass. This gatekeeper, whatever its name is, does it have a name? Do we even know? Did it introduce itself?
It did not introduce itself, but you certainly could ask.
What is your name?
X.
The Ring of Power.
E. X. L. L. Xmexel.
Xmexel. Is Xmexel paying attention to this Mistwalker or to me?
Seems to just be kind of generally keeping an eye out.
I'm just going to start inching towards the doorway. I don't know what's going on here, and I don't want to be caught up in whatever is happening.
You are more than welcome to make your way to the doorway.
I'm just gonna let you boys, sort out whatever this situation is. I know I'm good, so I'm just gonna...
Cool. All right, so Hattie, here's my question to you.
Yes.
Have you hit it? Do you have anything with you that you're like, you set the revolver over? You still got your whip. Do you have any other things with you? You have a whip, you have daggers.
I have cartography tools.
I think that's okay.
Otherwise, I think everything's fine. I have
really
my leather clothing, my daggers.
You have like a traveling pack. There may be a few things in it, but nothing's too crazy. Yeah, you can go to this thing and you put your sort of, do you touch it, or are you just walking straight through?
I'm just gonna kind of tentatively reach out.
You reach out and your hand is slick with like blood. And as you pull it back, it's just like your hand is just coated in red blood.
From the passageway?
Yeah, just from this, like the portal it's like a solid red. It is blood, and you've touched it, and it's wet.
Okay. But I'm not being thrown backward. Mm-mm. So I suppose I will.
But also, I guess it is bloody, but basically your mist is slightly pink for a moment, you know? As it's like passing through it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sure, then I guess I'll just pass on through.
Understood. Hattie
I would
passes.
hold my breath if I needed to.
Yeah, you can just. So basically, Hattie kind of goes through, and you are able to pass through. You're basically walking through like a sheet of sort of blood, and it kind of slimes over you. But you kind of, so for a few moments, you have this sort of pinkish color. You also, however, feel. No, I think you. Roll your D13.
Oh boy.
Oh god, roll a 13. That would be fucking rad.
No!
Because it's not only the dread clock, it's also, it means really bad luck.
10.
10 is good. 10 is like unless you're trying to do something incredibly hard. 10 is good. 11, 12, great. 13, suddenly bad again. Haha. So, with a 10, you manage to sort of like pass through, and your eyes are like, you probably have to like wipe blood off of your eyes, but you've sort of stepped through, and you can see that your mists are like, you know, pinkish in hue. You are covered in blood, so is your entire sort of belongings.
It's a Barbie situation. Barbie summer, everyone. Even on Long Lost Lore.
But you make it through. Okay. We're gonna cut to the other side for a moment as you're just like wiping, like, yeah, like kind of, okay, but you're just gonna stay there, and you
Just
appear.
One of those.
Yeah, exactly. So you're standing there, but basically what you see is a passage just like leading. You can now see more of the valley behind. And you are like, you're within a tunnel, you know, but you can like walk to the end of it, and you seem to be in this valley. And there is a strong scent of decay that is wafting throughout this place. Meanwhile, on the other side. Oh no, I guess we don't need to show it. Because you're just there to see it. Are you going to wait, or are you going to just start walking?
I mean, I'll turn around and wait for a moment because I'm kind of curious.
Okay. That's where it was, guys. The plan would have worked if I rolled this. I just rolled an 11. So it takes a while. You're waiting for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And you can see and hear nothing through those gates of blood.
What is happening?
It's a good question. Are you going to keep waiting? Are you going to... I mean, you got through. He showed you to the gates. He told you to leave the revolver. That seemed to be a good call.
I'm kind of curious, just because I
Sure. If you'd
don't
like to
know
wait,
anything about this realm.
if you so you can maybe step up and look down, and you see this valley, and there does seem
Guys,
in
am
the
I able to
distance.
find anything that lets me see through? Is there?
Oh, you can. You can't see back through unless you were to like put your head back through the bloody gate. But if you walk forward, there's no passage on that side. You know, you kind of walk with the. You can look down and just you emerge from the other side of this little like wall. You see a valley, sort of grim, foreboding. There seem to be various like mausoleums and memorial tombs along the rocks, but then in the distance there seems to be some kind of castle and maybe a small gathering or town or city of some kind ahead of it. This is certainly the Valley of Badairoth, based on what you had to do to get here and descriptions you've seen in your recent travels. You're certainly growing curious about the soldier, but since you're not you're willing to wait a little longer. After around 30 minutes, you do see the blood, kind of hear it kind of rippling. And the man walks through. It is the Soldier of Fortune. This is interesting. This is all happening off screen, but because we're with your POP, this is more interesting. But it's not the Soldier of Fortune. The being that walks through is his height and build honestly seems perhaps even more muscular. He is completely shirtless. Instead of the rifle on his back, he has a massive Zweihander, like, broadsword. He has other sort of knives and clubs and hammers kind of hanging on his belt. He's wearing a loincloth, and his boots are, like, large and, like, fur, and kind of... He looks very barbarian-like. He's sort of stepping through, but he still has, like facial hair. Like, the mustache is a little less pronounced, but his features seem different. His jaw, his cheekbones, rather, are more angular. His face is a little kind of, like, more slender. His ears are pointed, and his sclera are completely black. He does not appear to be a human. He looks like an elf of some kind. His skin is also a little more gray in color, kind of like the color has been leached out of it a bit. Although I say that, but you can only sort of tell that as he's wiping the blood off of himself, because he too is covered in red blood. But you can sort of see that he seems to have, like, lost a tan almost.
Interesting. Put one hand on my dagger and be like, and who?
Still me.
You certainly seem to have changed.
He just glares at you. Like I said, takes a lot.
What takes a lot?
It used to be more automatic passing through the mists. Now there's, well...
Magic?
Yes. Magic.
I mean, it's not a bad look. You should show up like this for your lady.
This isn't, he kind of, like, flexes and kind of just... His proportions seem different after this. He
elongated?
He's a little elongated, but, like, he's both elongated, but, like, his muscles are kind of... He doesn't seem, like, definitely not stockier, but kind of more like, you know, his, like, the muscles are more just almost like bloop. But he's no taller, but there is like almost like a top, like he's more like he used to be built like this, and now he's more like that almost.
He's more the V. He's more the triangle.
Yeah, he's got that sort of. It's like you know, like the hips are narrower, and the ears. I mean, you have seen elves before. This is clearly an elf.
Sure. Yeah.
He's
like
just
I said, you might want to go to your lady like this.
He kind of
Just saying.
narrows his now just all black eyes. Wait, you think she might like this more? She's a student.
Yeah, definitely you should go like this.
She's
a student. Oh, she's a child. How old is she?
She's in college. She's a law student, I think.
Okay.
But you think
She
that's...
was 18. I was about to smack you.
It's not... Listen, that's not what I'm focused on. It's all I care about are my feelings.
Sure, no man's focused on that. That's what they all say.
But you really... He kind of... Like, he seems very torn by what you're saying. You think she actually might like me like this?
Oh, honey.
Huh. I find most women across the Dreadlands are a little freaked out by shadow elves.
You're talking to the wrong women.
Well, she's not the wrong woman. But...
Oh, then you're probably fine. So, what happened to our friend?
The Guardian there?
Sure.
He'll remain there. He's just mainly there in case anybody's trying to, get past using magics they shouldn't be.
Oh, like you did?
No, this was the magic he wanted me to use.
Well, what was that blood nonsense you tried to pull earlier?
Yeah. He kind of just starts walking. He's like, I was trying to bleed out a little of my, I was trying to focus out some of the shadow elf blood that's in my veins. And I was hoping that if I could sort of, it's a trick that's worked before, not for me, for one of my, cousins. You can pull just, he's kind of like moving his hands. There's this like weird, also though, Hattie, as he says cousins like that, the charisma that you feel like he has and maybe the drifter has, they're kind of looking back on it, you're like, there is something of the shadow, the dark elf of it. There is something of the night elf, the shadow elf of this.
What do you mean by cousin?
The other Mistwalkers. Where, well, we have some similar blood in our veins.
I assume so with your cousins.
Sure. He kind of just starts walking and goes, technically I could stay like this, I suppose, and the others would be upset. Well, never mind.
What happened to all your guns?
He holds up like a throwing hammer and we'll say a hand axe. He holds up a throwing hammer and a hand axe and holds those up and gestures to the big like sword on his back and goes, transformed like me. Like I said, takes a lot of power.
That's convenient.
Yeah, well, I would have been happy to come through here with nothing but a couple of knives and my position intact. Instead, and sure enough, you hear this like dark, wicked roaring and howling in the sky above, and you look up, and there seems to be a skeletal horse wreathed in green energy, on which is some kind of rider, and it is kind of sort of coming down, and
that's something Hattie would be familiar with ever having seen.
I'm gonna say no. Ooh, you know what? You have been ranging in this area. Go ahead and make a luck roll with your D13. Ha ha ha.
I need not to ask things.
Why? I should never ask if I've seen something, because then it's all up to luck if I have. You've seen green alligators, long-backed geese, long-necked geese, humpty-backed camels, and a chimpanzee, cats and rats and elephants. But sure as you're born, you've just never seen a flying green skeleton horse. So you've probably seen a unicorn by now, though. Actually, are there unicorns at the Dreadlands?
Are there?
I don't know. Maybe not. So as you're sort of
maybe dead unicorns, like skeletons.
Oh, cool. Or just like goth unicorns who are unicorns, but they paint their hooves black.
Gothicorns?
Like, just listen to a lot of Misfits. So basically, you see that this lands, and there's like a figure sort of like getting off the back of it, clad in armor, face obscured, sort of walking forward and drawing a sword. The soldier's like, all right, so we may get into a fight here.
What?
Yeah, like I said, I was trying to sneak in.
This is one of your. I have nothing to do with this. Is this someone you have some?
You're like stepping away, like no. And this kind of like knight is walking forward. This like deathly knight is walking forward. Like also, again, Hattie, you're seeing a theme here. This is wearing a full like a face covering helm, but there are these like two like points of light, sort of like glowing out of it. And as this person sort of this being walks forward, it's saying, like, you are an enemy. You are the one. You are the one who has caused all of the destruction. And he's like, I'm here on a. I'm. He's like gripping his sword on his back. Like, I have a message. I have an offer. I don't want any trouble. But honestly, part of me does. Hey, chat. I wonder what they'll pick here. My dear friends in chat, before I give you this offer, I do want to point out where your boy, the Soldier of Fortune, is currently coming from. He is on a mission of love. He's trying to get something for his girl. Is she a student? Is this creepy? I mean, that's up to everyone's individual judgment. But the answer is yes. He could fight this person. He could try to fight this like knight of the Lich Queen. This is an undead knight. He could do that, but then he's definitely putting himself against her. Or he could try to somehow talk his way in and just play things chill. And perhaps that will get him what he needs for his girl first. So basically, the questions for the Soldier of Fortune are, does he immediately go into fight mode, just being like, boom, let's fight, let's do this, let's make this happen? Or is he going to try to keep things diplomatic for a moment? Option A. So press A for fight out of the gate. He's going to fight his way across this valley to the place, take what he needs. Or option B is he's going to try to play it diplomatic. So we'll say first two. You know what? I need 3 of the same answer. First answer to get 3. Ooh, I have 2 Bs. 1 more B and he'll try to B. And technically you can vote in this as well, Liv. We got 3 Bs. Wow. Oh my god, you guys are being very, very restrained. I'm impressed.
He's guided by love, which is making him act out of character.
So he says, I and it physically hurts him, Hattie, you can tell. He takes his hand off his sword and says, I will happily submit myself to your custody, noble knight. I am sure that the Lich Queen will want to hear what I have to say. The knight stares at him. He's gonna have to make a roll to see if it works. He rolls a 12. He's killing it, except not in the one time, and he almost killed him for the other thing. Man, I'm rolling good. I need to roll bad on this. Where were these when he was trying to not fall in love with Medina? So, the Soldier of Fortune.
Soldier of Misfortune.
Oh my god, let's make a 90s rom-com called Soldier of Misfortune. And there's like the cover, there's like a soldier going, and there's a girl just going, oh god, I like movies. So the point is he says this, and the fact that he's offering this the fact that he's just passed through, still sort of covered in the blood. This knight says, very well. I will bring you to the court of the Lich Queen, where you will be judged. I doubt there is anything you can bring that can make up for the destruction you have wrought, for the disorder. And he sort of like marches over, and over most people he'd be towering. Instead, like the helm's a little higher, but the eyes are probably like right at the same level, and he's just glaring. And the soldier's like, yeah, well, let's let the liches be the judge of that, right? He sort of casts an eye at Hattie. What of your wench?
Oh, I'm no wench, honey.
She's
I'm
my
the
gift.
Bounty hunter. I'm not a gift. I'm the bounty hunter. I brought him to you. Don't listen to him.
He kind of looks at the Death Knight and says, you can either figure that this, how tall's Hattie? 5'6"?
Hattie's pretty tall. She's like 5'8".
Okay. he kind of, well, Soldier Fortune's 6'4", and he kind of just goes and goes, which narrative you think makes more sense? This slip of a smoke demon brought me in and she's demanding payment, or she's my gift to the Lich Queen?
You're ruled by a queen, aren't you?
The Death Knight snaps his head to you and goes, yes, your gift, and reaches for you, Addie.
Well, she had to try.
Oh, no, you absolutely did. I love that she did. And, probably should have let you roll on that, but you know what? That's how it goes. Addie, bounty hunter, or gift, guidelines. So, with that, I did say it was going to be sort of a shortish one. But basically, we were just kind of seeing the tenor of how this goes, and we'll have to see this. The Soldier of Fortune sort of walks. Hattie, I presume, is carried by a clanking undead evil knight who just stinks of just death and hate and decay, and he carries you over to this snarling kind of this skeleton horse that has like extra horns and tusks on it, and like pieces of metal like bolted into the skeleton, and it seems like within it there's this green kind of energy just surging, not unlike the energy on this black basalt structure that you've passed through. And as you're sort of like thrown over the horse, the Soldier of Fortune holds his hands up and he has these manacles placed on them, and he's just as you two are put on this, the Death Knight climbs on. The Soldier of Fortune looks at you and goes, no hard feelings, right?
Oh, honey, I'm a gift that keeps on giving. You just wait and see.
Yeah. He'll say, you probably wouldn't believe it if I said this actually is a way to keep you safe, right?
I don't trust any man.
Yeah, you've mentioned. Funny thing about that, you did follow me in here. Actually, you went ahead of me.
Yeah, exactly. I left you behind.
Well, we're both together now.
Just blow smoke in his face.
You know what? You do that, and he breathes it in happily. And he's like, hold on, this is gonna get bumpy. And then you guys are lifted up in the air, and you hear this like snarling of this thing as this flies up. And Hattie, you see below you, just kind of and Hattie, I mean, smoking ones look gorgeous, like in the wind, is it, you know, like they have this like trail of mist. And the Soldier of Fortune's like, God, if I wasn't in love, man, you do look pretty good right now.
Your lady is so lucky.
Yeah. So seriously, you think I should stay like this? And as the two of them kind of keep talking as they fly up into the sky, that is where we're going to end chapter 99 of Blood from a Stone. As I said, it's a shorter one. I knew we weren't going to get to sort of the meat of what happened to our Soldier of Fortune, but I did want to check in with him as we saw this, because it's fun because you guys tried to have him do the thing. I was like, I kind of want him to see what happens when he goes to the place, because unless he's able to pull a thing off, which he tried, but the dice were one shy of it, he poor Soldier of Fortune could have really yeah, you got to see him as elf barbarian. That's kind of what I'm getting to. And maybe Medina would like it more like that. Maybe Medina would like, because you know what? He's showing her who he really is.
Listen. I can't speak for Medina. I feel like Lauren, yeah, 100%.
Well, I can't speak for Lauren or Medina, but I can speak for all other women.
Philip is the expert on women, in fact.
I understand women so good. I can always pick exactly how they're going to react to things.
So good.
Yeah, well. So, thank you all so much for watching. Kind of a sort of a smaller game, but I hope you enjoyed this. Kind of had a different vibe tonight. Little check-in, and then we will be back next week, if all holds, with all of the cast ready to see what happens to Miss Medina Lake. If Penny and Everett and Bradley are able to save her from the ghoul, or if they'll even choose to try. A lot to unpack. So yeah, join us for that.
Shove her at the ghoul and run.
Exactly. Just here. Yeah, just we'll hold her down for you.
Dead anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So we have some announcements. We have some other stuff going on here. I will talk about our other games. I also do just want to say thanks to everybody in chat. I know that we did have. I noticed we had a few first time commenters, so welcome so much. Thanks. I hope you enjoy our silly chat here.
It's normally more people and not like this, but
yeah, we normally have sort of more players going on, but tonight was kind of a different thing. And one thing that I think the reason this is like my favorite game, and it's sort of find this the most special, and it's the one that's got 299 episodes, is that by the way, next week for episode 100 we'll see if Medina lives. Episode 100, because I know that is important to you base 10 people. But yeah, I do think that the reason this game has been able to go on so long is that it can like jump over and do a different thing and sort of try different systems and have all these different things. I think that's the longevity, is its sprawling mosaic nature. So yeah, so thanks for checking this out. I know some people might be watching this on YouTube, which leads me to another announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, we now have all of our back catalog up on YouTube. YouTube.com/@longlostlore, which I guess I should put in chat.
So if you want to know, if you're new and you want to know more about Hattie or the Soldier of Fortune, that is a good place to go and start.
You can go there. You can watch all of the Soldier of Fortune had a previous, I think it was, chapter 78 was the Soldier of Fortune's previous solo session. That's where previously everybody hated him, and then everyone but Sophia saw that. Sophia never saw that one, and everyone was like, actually, wait, I like this guy. He's cool. So like that was a real turning point for him, because up to that point he'd kind of, he's not a great guy.
He's still kind of awful,
Yeah,
but you love to have him around now, just so you could be like, ugh, it's the worst.
So that one's there. We have all of the we have all of our shows there, and Lauren has done a really cool job. They're all like available as playlists by series. So even though if you just look at our videos, it's kind of a hodgepodge of different stuff, and it will be moving forward as we upload, new and old ones and such. We have playlists. You can just find the series you're after. You can also go to our Discord. And I think if I do this, so go to our Discord, and there you can find out. You can like just message me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was this episode if you want to watch. But you can also check any of them out that you want to. There. Speaking of other games, on Sunday we have another Here Be Dragons, where the dragons have a wish to discuss. On Monday we are finally back with Third Time's the Charm, our absolutely preposterous sitcom game. We had the first one, but sometimes remember how in the 90s they would like show a pilot of a TV show like a few weeks ahead and then it would start? That's kind of what our first episode of Third Time's the Charm was. It was like a preview on TGIF, and then a few weeks later it actually gets added to the lineup. Thank you for the ha-has in chat. Perfect. We also have on Tuesday, guys, Gray in the Dark. If you enjoy Liv's monochromatic look, Gray in the Dark, the whole game is like that. And this is going to be a big one of that. The players kind of did something that I felt I had to honor, and they're skipping some stuff. They're kind of they're racing towards something, because I always told them there was no getting color back, but that doesn't mean there was no way to get color, basically. So they may be doing the impossible, which is, every time you tell players there's something they can't do, that has become the whole of their whole campaign. So join us for that. It's gonna be a really fun one on Tuesday. If you're a Gray in the Dark fan, I recommend that. These games are always at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. So join us for those, and you can, they're here on Twitch, but they also are now on YouTube after the fact and on our Twitch page as well later. So yeah, so that's all that. And lastly, I will once again say, we do have our wiki, and you can find that, a link to that on the Discord as well. I think I can post that here too. Hold on. I don't have that. Yeah, there it is. Here's our wiki. We should add that as like That is a thing. So, so yeah, you can check out our wiki. You can see all the different games, and Sophia's been adding stuff to that, which is it's super cool. So check that out.
Yeah, thank you, Sophia, for helping with that.
Yeah, it's been that one is not a helping. That is Sophia's just done that. That's a pure fan thing. I will provide any information, but she's just thrown that. It's awesome. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, check that stuff out. It's super fun. That's all of the plugs I have for this week. Do you have any? You want to plug anything or say anything?
Actually, I'm sending you a link in the chat on our chat. So I'm part of the Los Angeles Queer Pole Collective, and we did a photo shoot and did a video, and we're selling calendars for 2024. And all the proceeds from those calendars go to supporting LGBTQ charities. So if you want to get a really sexy, cool, queer pole dancer calendar for your wall next year, I gave Philip a link. You can fill that out.
It's Google Doc?
Yeah, it's a Google Doc.
So yeah, here's a link for everyone to check out there.
Yep. And you can order a calendar for yourself. If you're outside of the US, DM me, because we don't have international shipping, but I will personally ship those out.
Wow.
Just, So yeah, I'll handle it for anyone who's a fan of mine who wants to order one of these if they're international. If you're, I think US and maybe Canada, you should be good. So yeah, it's pretty cool. They're super hot, sexy, awesome, great people, and it was a lot of fun. I look like a Lisa Frank, acid trip in mine. So very exciting.
See, sometimes we combine certain like if you're drawing two things out of a hat and you combine Lisa Frank and pole dancing, that's an interesting combination. Probably something a lot of people will be into.
It's so great. I love it. I have one of the photos of me is up on my Instagram right now. So if you want to get an idea of what that looks like, you can go check that out.
Very cool. Well, yeah. Check that out. That's in the chat here, and we'll also put that on I'll put that on our Discord as well in the promotions page. So thank you all so much for watching. This is kind of a little different one, but I wanted just a taste of something this weekend. We always got it. And also, I would say that Hattie is the character who, we have a lot of characters who are still alive out there. Hattie's the one I've been the most curious about. There's a lot of characters who are who are still living, kind of out there doing this, that, or whatever. But
of my two characters who are alive, it's Hattie and poor Dahlia, who's not mine anymore. Who I'm most curious.
You have a few other characters who I think only appeared once or twice who are still alive, but yeah, those were the longer term ones. Yeah, who it is? Yeah, Dahlia's not yours. Dahlia's mine now. Oh my god,
not mine
I'm
anymore.
so excited for when you guys finally meet Dahlia. And how rough she is on everyone. It's going to be great. Dahlia and Oksana. It's going to be the best is when Oksana meets Dahlia and I'm getting to be Dahlia. So you'll be there no, Dahlia would never say that, as Dahlia just destroys her emotionally. Oh, it's going to be cool. Because that's what Pride is all about. Is that love is love, and it can be equally terrible for everyone. So, on that super upbeat note, thanks everybody for watching. This has been amazing. Until next time, have a dreadful night.